Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the glamorous, scandalous, and fiercely competitive world of daytime television. Today is a thrilling day to unpack the explosive drama brewing in Los Angeles, as the battle lines between two legendary fashion dynasties are drawn in permanent ink. The corporate warfare between Forrester Creations and the newly resurrected Logan brand has escalated from boardroom bickering to outright espionage. What was once a simmering feud over office space and fashion lines has now mutated into a catastrophic betrayal that threatens to burn the Forrester empire to the ground. As we peel back the layers of this unprecedented scandal, we are forced to witness the devastating consequences of ambition, maternal desperation, and a daughter's ruthless quest for absolute vengeance. Steffy Forrester Finnegan has never been a woman who ignores her instincts. For weeks, she has watched Brooke Logan Forrester maneuver through the halls of Forrester Creations with a suspicious level of entitlement, relentlessly pushing to usurp the co-CEO position. While Ridge Forrester viewed his wife's ambition through the rose-colored glasses of love, Steffy saw a predator circling her territory. Steffy's sharp, analytical mind could not shake the feeling that Brooke's sudden thirst for executive power was a smokescreen for a much darker agenda. Driven by an unrelenting need to protect her family's legacy, Steffy made a highly controversial and deeply clandestine decision. She secretly installed a hidden high-definition camera directly inside Ridge's private office. It was a desperate measure, born of paranoia and an unwavering distrust of the Logan matriarch, but it was a measure that would soon yield catastrophic, world-shattering results. To understand the magnitude of the impending devastation, one must understand the sanctity of Ridge Forrester's office and the masterpiece resting upon his drafting table. Ridge has spent the better part of his life cementing his status as a legendary designer, but his current project, a highly classified special couture collection, was meant to be his magnum opus. He had poured his entire soul, countless sleepless nights, and the very essence of his artistic brilliance into these sketches. This collection was not just another seasonal line. It was a profound tribute to his father, Eric Forrester, and a definitive statement that Forrester Creations remained the undisputed king of the fashion world. The sketches were heavily guarded, a closely held secret that represented the financial and creative future of the company. For Ridge, these designs were as precious as his own children, a vulnerable manifestation of his innermost passion. The revelation arrived in the dead of night, illuminated only by the cold, harsh glow of Steffy's laptop screen. Sitting alone in her dimly lit living room, Steffy reviewed the hidden camera footage, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. What she witnessed on that screen was not just a breach of corporate security. It was a profound, sickening violation of trust. The high-resolution video clearly showed Brooke Logan Forrester slipping into Ridge's office after hours, her eyes darting nervously toward the door. With calculated precision, Brooke approached the drafting table, lifted the leather-bound portfolio containing the special couture collection, and pulled out her smartphone. Steffy's breath caught in her throat as she watched Brooke systematically photograph every single sketch, capturing Ridge's life's work frame by agonizing frame. The sheer audacity of the act left Steffy paralyzed with a toxic cocktail of shock, disgust, and a terrifying, icy rage. To dissect Brooke's motivations is to delve into a twisted labyrinth of maternal desperation and profound delusion. Brooke did not steal these designs out of malice toward her husband. In her warped reality, she committed this treason out of a misguided sense of justice for her daughter. Hope Logan Spencer had been pushed to the absolute brink, her hope for the future line repeatedly shelved by Steffy's condescending leadership. When Hope finally snapped, resigning from Forrester Creations to secretly sign a lucrative contract with the rival Logan brand, Brooke felt an overwhelming need to level the playing field. Blinded by her fierce, irrational need to protect Hope's career and punish Steffy for her arrogance, Brooke convinced herself that providing Hope with these brilliant silhouettes was a necessary evil. She believed she was a mother fighting for her child's survival, completely ignoring the fact that she was plunging a dagger directly into the back of the man she claimed to love. Across town, the stolen brilliance was already being weaponized. Hope Logan Spencer, fueled by years of pent-up resentment and a burning desire to prove her worth, was aggressively preparing to launch her new flagship line at the Logan Fashion House. Surrounded by the strategic minds of Bill Spencer, Katie Logan, and the newly returned Wyatt Spencer, Hope was gearing up to deliver a catastrophic blow to Forrester Creations. However, the dark, undeniable irony of her impending triumph was that the foundational architecture of her new vision was built entirely on stolen Forrester genius. As Hope reviewed the identical lines and familiar silhouettes provided by her mother, a quiet, insidious guilt battled against her overwhelming sense of entitlement. She was about to launch a collection that would cement the Logan brand's dominance, but it was a victory tainted by the ultimate act of corporate espionage. In the past, a younger, more impulsive Steffy Forrester would have stormed into Ridge's office the moment she saw the footage, screaming accusations and demanding immediate retribution. But the woman sitting in the co-CEO chair today is a seasoned, ruthless executive who understands the devastating power of timing. Steffi chose to hold her cards close to her chest, locking the explosive footage away like a loaded weapon. She maintained a chillingly composed facade, smiling at Brooke in the hallways and engaging in mundane corporate discussions, all while secretly orchestrating her stepmother's spectacular downfall. Steffi knew that a private confrontation would allow Brooke to manipulate Ridge with tears and emotional pleas. To truly destroy Brooke's standing in the company and in Ridge's heart, the exposure had to be public, undeniable, and utterly humiliating. She decided to wait for the upcoming, highly anticipated executive board meeting. The atmosphere leading up to the board meeting was thick with unspoken tension and dramatic irony. Ridge Forrester walked into the boardroom with the relaxed, confident stride of a man who believed his empire was secure and his marriage was unbreakable. He sat beside Brooke, occasionally offering her a warm, affectionate smile, completely oblivious to the fact that the woman holding his hand had already sold his legacy to the highest bidder. Eric Forrester, the esteemed patriarch, presided over the table, representing the historical weight and foundational integrity of the company. The room was filled with the key players of Forrester Creations, all gathered to discuss the strategic defense against the rising threat of the Logan brand. None of them, least of all Ridge and Brooke, had any inkling that the true threat was already sitting inside the room, and that Steffi was about to detonate a bomb that would shatter their reality. When Steffi finally took the floor, the temperature in the room seemed to drop by 10 degrees. She did not open a financial ledger or present a marketing strategy. Instead, she stood at the head of the table, her posture rigid, her eyes locked onto Brooke with the intensity of a predator about to deliver the killing strike. Steffi spoke in a low, dangerously calm voice, announcing that before they could discuss external threats, they needed to address a catastrophic internal breach. The confusion on Ridge's face was palpable, while a flicker of genuine terror finally sparked in Brooke's eyes. With a swift, deliberate click of a button, Steffi dimmed the boardroom lights and directed everyone's attention to the massive presentation screen mounted on the wall. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating, and pregnant with impending doom. The hidden camera footage began to play in crisp, undeniable high definition. The stage has been meticulously set for what promises to be the most vicious corporate war in recent history. Bill Spencer, a man whose appetite for power is matched only by his ruthless business acumen, is orchestrating a hostile takeover of the fashion industry. By launching the newly minted Logan brand alongside his wife, Katie Logan Spencer, Bill has drawn a definitive line in the sand against Forrester Creations. He has already executed a masterstroke by luring Hope Logan away from her family's legacy, dealing a catastrophic psychological and financial blow to Ridge and Steffi Forrester. However, to truly command this rapidly expanding empire, a general requires his most trusted lieutenant. Bill needs a soldier who understands the Spencer way of doing business, which is precisely why he has summoned his son, Wyatt Spencer, back from his 3,000-mile hiatus. Wyatt's return to Los Angeles was supposed to be a triumphant homecoming, the final strategic piece in Bill's grand design to achieve absolute market dominance. Stepping off the plane, Wyatt is fully prepared to stand shoulder to shoulder with his father and his brother, Liam, ready to execute the aggressive expansion plans that will cement the Logan brand as an unstoppable global powerhouse. Wyatt is a seasoned businessman, well-versed in the high-stakes, cutthroat tactics required to survive and thrive in Dollar Bill's unforgiving world. Yet, Wyatt is not walking onto this corporate battlefield alone. His return is accompanied by a shadow from the past, and his choice of companion is about to trigger a seismic shockwave of paranoia, anger, and historical trauma across the entire canvas. Stepping into the bright Los Angeles sunlight right behind Wyatt is none other than Flo Fulton. Her reappearance is nothing short of explosive, a narrative bombshell that immediately destabilizes the fragile peace within the newly formed alliance. Flo is a character steeped in profound controversy, forever tethered to one of the darkest, most agonizing chapters in the Logan family's history. The deep psychological scars of the Baby Beth scandal, where Flo was tragically complicit in keeping Hope and Liam's child hidden from them, are etched permanently into the collective memory of Brooke, Katie, and Donna. Bringing Flo back into the very epicenter of the Logan family's new corporate empire is a staggeringly risky maneuver by Wyatt, one that borders on absolute recklessness. However, Flo is not merely returning as a supportive partner to help Wyatt navigate his new executive role. She is harboring a monumental, game-changing secret that has the power to completely alter the Spencer family dynamic forever. The exact nature of this hidden truth remains shrouded in a heavy veil of mystery, but its immense psychological toll is evident in Flo's every hesitant step and nervous glance. She is walking a terrifying emotional tightrope, desperately attempting to reintegrate into a family that inherently distrusts her, all while carrying a burden that could instantaneously detonate her romantic relationship with Wyatt and her fragile standing with the powerful Spencer patriarch. The crushing pressure of this hidden secret, combined with the overwhelming, high-stakes atmosphere of corporate espionage surrounding the Logan brand, inevitably leads to a catastrophic misstep. In a rare moment of vulnerability and distraction, Flo inadvertently lets crucial information slip. She accidentally leaks highly classified, intensely sensitive intelligence regarding Bill Spencer's massive, multi-million-dollar expansion plans to her mother, Shauna Fulton. What might have begun as a casual, unguarded conversation between mother and daughter instantaneously transforms into a devastating, empire-threatening data breach. Shauna Fulton, as longtime viewers know all too well, has never been a woman to sit quietly on the sidelines when a golden opportunity presents itself. Armed with this leaked corporate intelligence, Shauna makes a chaotic, highly publicized, and fiercely audacious return to Los Angeles. With unshakable confidence and a predatory smirk, she marches directly into Bill Spencer's private executive office. Utilizing the stolen data as leverage, Shauna pitches her own brazen, self-serving business proposal. The sheer audacity of Shauna's calculated move leaves the usually unflappable Spencer patriarch completely blindsided. But that initial shock rapidly morphs into something far more dangerous and destructive: the realization of betrayal. Bill Spencer is a man who demands absolute, unwavering loyalty from those within his inner circle. His entire empire is built on a foundation of fierce protectionism and ruthless elimination of liabilities. When Bill connects the dots and realizes that this catastrophic data leak originated directly from within his own camp, specifically from his son's fiancée, his fury becomes boundless. The wrath of Dollar Bill is a terrifying, uncontrollable force of nature. He views this breach not merely as a clumsy corporate blunder, but as a profound, unforgivable personal betrayal. The mahogany walls of Spencer Publications literally seem to shake as Bill unleashes his rage, demanding immediate answers and brutal accountability for the leak that has jeopardized his entire war against Forrester Creations. The interrogation that follows behind closed doors is nothing short of psychological warfare. Bill corners Flo, ruthlessly dissecting her loyalty, her character, and her ultimate motives. He no longer looks at her as his future daughter-in-law or a member of the family. He views her as a highly dangerous liability, a Trojan horse that has successfully infiltrated his heavily guarded empire. Bill's inherent, deep-seated distrust of anyone outside his immediate bloodline flares to life with a vengeance. He demands to know if Flo is intentionally sabotaging the Logan brand's expansion, aggressively tearing into her past mistakes to prove his narrative that she is fundamentally untrustworthy and entirely unworthy of the prestigious Spencer name. Caught directly in the blistering crossfire of this explosive confrontation is Wyatt. He suddenly finds himself standing at an agonizing, life-altering crossroads, forced into the impossible position of choosing between the woman he loves with all his heart and the father he deeply reveres. Wyatt has spent his entire adult life trying to earn his father's unconditional respect, constantly stepping up to the plate to prove his worth to the Spencer legacy, often feeling like he is in a perpetual shadow cast by his brother, Liam. But he also loves Flo deeply, having fought through massive emotional hurdles, societal judgment, and family pushback to rebuild their fractured relationship. Now, he must act as a human shield, standing between his terrified fiancée and his enraged father. Wyatt's internal conflict is palpable and deeply tragic. He desperately tries to defend Flo, arguing passionately that the leak was a tragic, innocent mistake, a momentary lapse in judgment rather than a calculated, malicious act of corporate espionage. He pleads with his father to see the human error rather than a sinister plot. But Bill is entirely deaf to excuses. To the Spencer patriarch, a leak is a leak, and the consequences are measured in millions of dollars, lost strategic advantages, and compromised power. Wyatt is being torn apart from the inside out, his loyalty severely fractured as he realizes that protecting Flo might ultimately mean sacrificing his hard-earned place within the Spencer empire and relinquishing his vital role in the impending corporate war. The toxic fallout from Flo's accidental betrayal extends far beyond the soundproof walls of Bill's executive office. Her sudden, unwelcome reappearance in Los Angeles viciously rips open old, agonizing wounds for the Logan women. Brooke, Katie, and Donna are already navigating a highly precarious emotional and professional landscape as they attempt to launch their new fashion house